And welcome back to Who Would Win. Forgive me if I looked a little disheveled or if I look greasy or my hair. I literally just got out of the shower. Yeah, I look a little like a greasy, sweaty nerd in his room. As I actually heard someone refer to me as that one time, but whatever, I don't care. Let me see if I can at least straighten my hair out just a little bit there. Oh, yeah, it actually looks better. So this one comes to us I'm behind on the Who Would Wins. I'm cramming all three I need to get out now. So Chandler Mason asked the question, who would win a fight? New 52 Superman versus Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. Now, when it comes to Superman, the New 52 version is actually one of the weaker versions of Superman we've had. If we have pre-Crisis, he's probably arguably the strongest one. And I'm talking about main series. Take out the elsewhere stuff like Superman 1 Million or like Superboy Prime, who's not Superman. I'm referring to like our main cancer. Pre-Crisis Superman, who could literally blow solar system away with a sneeze, is a completely different power scale. Like the animated versions of Superman tend not to be actually as powerful as your comic versions. New 50 and Rebirth is much stronger than 52. That said, he's still New 52 Superman. He's still Superman. He has all the abilities you would expect from Superman: super strength, super speed. His super strength is a bit more of an act of consciousness, but whatever. Speed that can rival, but not as fast as the Flash. High durability. Heat absorbs solar radiation. Heat beams. Super breath. New 52 Superman, though, also has the solar flare, which is like a final last resort ability. It basically allows him to use every ounce of solar energy in his body and detonate like an atom bomb, essentially. But afterwards, he's completely human for about 24 hours. Like all Supermen, though, he has a weakness to kryptonite. He has no special immunity to magic. And this version is a bit more vulnerable to solar energy depletion, so there is that little caveat as well. He also is relatively an expert fighter. Now, he's not a master martial artist. In a straight fight, if we're talking about just skill, he could not beat Wonder Woman or Batman or any advanced hand-to-hand combatant in a straight fight. But he's wrestled Mongol. He's fought with Wonder Woman, like in, not legitimate like in fighting, but, like sparring, stuff like that. And has learned advanced moves from Batman. He's also got an indomitable will, but that really won't matter in this fight. And even then, Superman's been taken over before, so the whole indomitable will fee is an odd feature. Frieza. Obviously, if you know Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, or anything along those lines, you know who Frieza is. He is from a race of individuals called Frost Demons. Now, Frieza, his dad, and his brother Cooler, who's not canon at this point, are unique among the race. They have like a mutation that just made them naturally OP. Like the little mini Frieza you see is not his real form. It's a suppressed form to suppress his real power. The Frieza we normally see like in the Dragon Ball Super series, or when he transforms into his fourth form, is actually his real form. So his real form is just immense, was that powerful. Frieza's well known for just being able to destroy a planet with legitimately his finger, creating the death ball and turning it into basically a mini sun and just throwing it at a planet and going boom. And he can do that in his suppressed form and in his final form, be it Golden Frieza or his regular form. He's also keen on using his Death Beam, which is basically just a red energy blast. Just pew, 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 pew. It can be giant or it can be so precise that it's like a little blast of energy straight through you. Frieza is he's not a martial artist. He's more of a brawler, but he does know how to fight. It's not that he's an incompetent fighter. He's just not a honed martial artist or anything like that. Even with all the years he's fought Goku, Vegeta, and all the other Z fighters, he's still not a martial artist. He's just an experienced fighter. Having a tail that's quite versatile as well is quite useful in its own right. And then Golden Frieza is an individual Golden Frieza's transformation he acquired in the Resurrection F-Arc / movie that, gave him power on par with Super Saiyan Blue Goku. At that time, he didn't master it, so he tired himself out pretty quick. But then he learned to master it and, offset the whole ki draining thing. In that form, he has power comparable to a deity on a universal level. He technically has a universal level of power. Now, we need to clarify something right now. If this were just about how much power one of them has over the other, Frieza wins the fight hands down, because Superman is not a universal level being in terms of his power. Even spending like a good couple minutes in the sun where he could effortlessly move a planet, that's not a universal being. He'd probably be a solar system, maybe even a galactic level being. But he's not a universal level being. Let's be clear here. Let's see if there's something I can use for a comparison. If my fist represented basically one galaxy, if my fist represented one galaxy, and this is what a galactic level individual could do, destroy a whole galaxy. A universal level individual could pretty much, and this is just a rough estimate of like the size of the actual universe, theoretically speaking, could destroy the Earth and the equivalent galaxies that could fit in there. And that's a rough guess. I'm not an astronomer. I don't know the actual size. Point being, there is a vast difference between having a galactic level of power, and that's Superman if he's absorbed a lot of solar radiation. Normal Superman is a planet buster for sure, arguably a solar system buster on a good day. And I know I know people are going to get on my case for that, but remember, we're talking New 52 Superman here. And even so, normal Superman is not very... People really jump on Superman, like, riding his super trains, we're going to call it, because lately I've been getting flagged a lot by YouTube for, I think, using bad terms. Superman is powerful, but he's technically a second-tier character when you actually look at the true, end-all, be-all powerful characters in the DC universe. He is a second-tier character, like, in terms of power scale. If you got the Tier 1 characters are the most powerful, and then you just go down, Superman does fall into the Tier 2. And in the DC universe, Tier 2 are some powerful ass. Wonder Woman falls into a Tier 2. Martian Manhunter would be a Tier 2. I'm trying to think of a couple other ones right off the top of my head here that like most of like the Lantern Corps are probably like Tier 2 characters. Most Lanterns. White Lanterns would probably be a Tier 1 character though, because White Lanterns are like godlike, literally godlike. And a White Lantern could probably easily take out Superman if we're going to be honest. Most Lanterns would probably have difficulty with Superman. White Lantern would not. I digress, though. But let's not mince words. Superman's still immensely powerful, but I think people just overhype his powers so much. When you actually look at what he's physically capable of, yeah, he could destroy a galaxy, sure, but, the amount of time it would take for him to actually go about doing that, instead of an individual who just has enough power to destroy a galaxy with, like, a technique. Beerus, for example, if he truly wanted to with all his power from Dragon Ball Z, could destroy the universe with all his power. That's something that most characters can't do. Universal level destruction is reserved for, granted, it's a lot of characters when you think about it, but in the grand scheme of characters, it's very few. Now, Frieza, back to the subject at hand, I went on a little tangent there, does have universal levels of power, but he has no outright ability that could actually negatively affect the universe as a whole. Like, he doesn't have a Hakai, which destroys anything like Beerus has. Frieza actually couldn't destroy the universe if he wanted to, because he has no ability that could allow him to do that. He has more control over his power, so it doesn't just radiate outward. Like when Goku and Beerus fought, they were actually starting to shred the universe apart. Because their power was just exploding outward, because Goku had no control over it at that point, and Beerus was just being completely reckless. Frieza has a lot more control over his ability, therefore his power does not jettison outward or wildly, and therefore it does not affect the universe in a negative way. But he still has a universal level of power. He also has access to he's also quite intelligent, cunning, slimy. He loves to play with his food, basically. He also has access to telekinesis. It's something we don't see him use very often, but he does have access to it. We never see him use it on an individual, but I have to assume he could use it on a person. So with that out of the way, Frieza's been defeated before, so we know that. So is Superman. So with that out of the way, if this fight broke down, how would it go down? I think Frieza winds up in the DC multiverse or DC universe of the New 52, saying, I'm here since my conquest of that Earth did not go as planned. Let's try this Earth. Oh, no monkeys, no Saiyans, how beautiful. Men, go forth and take this planet in the name of Lord Frieza. Yes, Lord Frieza. And just as they're about to, go attack Metropolis, just happened to be at, Superman comes in, bah! Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to say, I can't let you do that. I don't know who you are, but, say the do have some individuals have power here. Very good. I was afraid this would be boring. Oh, and who might you be, my big blue friend? I'm Superman. You're trespassing this planet. We defend. And he basically said, we didn't let Darkseid or Brainiac take over this planet. You really think you're going to let some another space tyrant take over, try their luck at, or try their hand at it? It's like, oh well, if you were smart, you just let me have it. Otherwise, this might go very bad for you very quickly. So why don't you be a good little blue boy and go back down? Now, Superman does have ki. He does have ki, but the solar energy that he stores in him, I don't think equates to ki. It's just solar energy that he's using for his own, being, and he's constantly absorbing it. But that being said, he does have ki, and I'd imagine as a Kryptonian, being a kind of race that's considered superior to most, it would be a reasonable level. So Frieza can sense it. It's like, you do seem stronger than a normal one, than normal individuals on this planet. You're much stronger than my men. So he gets out of his chair. This might be fun. So how do you want to do, and he's just got his answer. How do you want to do this? I come at you, you come at me, we come at each other. Ooh, at the same time. Got a little alley guard there. Like, how about this? You leave now. Oh, well, I mean, since you asked so nicely, I mean, you could just leave. After all, he's just still pointing the finger there. It's like, yeah, no, I didn't want to do this, but we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to do it. Then we're going to have to do it. And all of a sudden, Superman does see his hands. He barely gets out of the way and touches him. Ooh, good reflexes. And Superman does have a little scrape, like a graze. And that actually hit me. I never understood why, Screw Attack thought now at the levels of power Goku was at least in the first fight, why a ki blast wouldn't hurt him. What? Or could it is energy and it's not solar energy, so and it's concentrated. So I don't know. I think Screw Attack did get the first Goku versus Superman fight down relatively correct, although they downplayed Goku. I even saw the math pointed out no, they actually screwed Goku over pretty hard on the feats. But the second fight with Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, Goku versus Superman, I contend Goku should have won that fight. I contend he should have won that fight. But I digress. Especially when he just Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha and Superman just walks straight through. It's no, remember. No, that's not how that works. No. Anyway, I digress. So, yes. Frieza, ooh, you dodged that one. How about some more? Then he starts firing, and Superman just, he's that's enough. And then he lands a solid hit on Frieza. Frieza's, okay, then. Alright, I guess we'll have to do this the hard way. And then they start going at it, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, in a straight-on physical altercation, Superman wins that fight hands down. Superman is physically stronger than any of them, even enhancing themselves with ki. Absolutely. Now, again, enhancing yourself with God ki is a different thing entirely, like divine ki, but Frieza doesn't have divine ki. There's a difference. He just has power comparable to a god, to some degree. Still, Frieza's doing it. But Frieza, I think... Superman's not a master hand-to-hand combat. At least the new 52 one isn't. In fact, no version really is. But he's a solid hand-to-hand fighter. But Frieza's had a lot of experience dealing with other hand-to-hand fighters as well. So I'd have to say they're even relatively in hand-to-hand fighting, with the exception that, technically speaking, Frieza has a third appendage, which he makes use of more than once. So, they're fighting, and, Frieza gets a solid hit on him, Superman gets a solid hit on Frieza, but then wraps the tail around him and says, got you, and then just blasts him, and then, Superman just throws back some heat blasts and just, whoa, and then Superman comes up behind him and just, and then, frees him and just freeze him like in a block of ice. He goes flying down. Well, that took a bit longer than I thought it would, but it's over. Now I'm going to just get you out of here, and then all of a sudden he just feels the energy coming on. He's like, now you played with the bull. It's like you messed with it. What's the Earth saying? You messed with the bull, and now here comes the horns. And then Frieza just disappears. Now, in terms of actual speed, I think once you get into the Cell Saga level, Cell Saga area, Cell Saga timeline in terms of power levels, most of like the high level, like Goku, Gohan, Frieza, especially in the Buu and Super, are actually faster than Superman. And here's the reason why. Superman can disappear like that. In terms of traveling speed, his speed is quite almost as comparable to it's not quite as comparable to the Flash, but it's close. Like like the Flash is here, Superman is here, like in terms of a race. They're close. But in terms of actual, his reaction speed is great too, but in terms of actual like combat speed, there is a difference between your reaction speed is actually greater than your traveling speed. And Superman's it's still, phenomenal. But when you compare it to the Z Fighters, who are instinctually designed to dodge blows and things along those lines and just disappear constantly every time, just almost like it's like they're teleporting, they're that fast. Superman is not that fast. Superman is fast, don't get me wrong. But I'm referring to New 52 Superman. And again, we're talking traveling speed versus actual, combat speed. Frieza starts blitzing Superman pretty hard, just and, it's just, Superman's actually on the defensive, and he's taking legitimate punches, and he's feeling them, and he's actually shocked by it. It's like, this guy's this strong, and then, he, again, just was able to grab Frieza, lands a solid gut check on his dog, and then, throws Frieza down, who then blasts him. They go blind back, but then they're just floating there. They come again. Frieza charges at him and disappears, and then reappears behind him. Got you! Now, you want to play hardball? Well, here's the ball. Let's see how hard you play. And then, throws a death ball at him. And we're talking a Super Saiyan, a Golden Frieza death ball, which means it's a pretty powerful death ball. Superman has blitzed through suns before. But again, that's traveling, and the sun isn't being thrown at him. This is a more... here's the problem, is that the death ball probably couldn't destroy Sun, because the Cooler movie kind of refutes the idea it could destroy a star. Though it probably could if Frieza really wanted to. But it's easily capable of destroying a planet. It's more condensed than the sun. So, Superman actually has to... and he actually has to, uses he actually uses... not just with his physical strength, but with his heat beams, just... just blasts it back at Frieza, who then uses his telekinesis and just throws it back at Superman, who then just has to punch it and it explodes. He's now burnt and hurt, and then Frieza's just like, oh my, you are quite tenacious, aren't you, blue boy? I haven't had this much fun in years. Oh, but it's time to end these things. Superman just, because Frieza's cocky, Frieza's arrogant, just boom, it's like, and he just throws Frieza on the ground, and then he just goes, this is over! It's like, yes, it is! And then just Frieza holds out his hands, and just, boom! And Superman just, what is this? Telekinesis! Now, here's the problem. Again, there's nothing to say Frieza can't use telekinesis on an actual person. We've never actually seen him do it. We've seen him use it on, inanimate objects, but you have to believe he can do it on other people. But here's the thing, is that Superman, for all his power, even as, and even most interpretations of Superman have, him having mental shields, things along those lines, he has no real defense against psychic attacks like telekinesis or anything that could stop him in his track. Reality warp and gravity, that kind of stuff, he has no basis of protection against that. It's just a matter of how tough he is. There's nothing he could really do against telekinesis so long as the opponent's will is strong enough to keep him in place. And Frieza's will would be strong enough to keep him in place. So he's just trying to move, and Frieza's like, oh, don't think for 1 minute you're getting out. You're getting away. You've been quite the nuisance. But I must say, it has been so much fun. I haven't had this much fun in years. Did I say that I'm prattling on? Already say that I'm prattling on too much. I will, but let me just give you this. And he's still holding him there. Oh, you have been so fun. I will actually miss you when you're dead. But don't fret. You'll have plenty of friends to keep you company in hell after I destroyed this planet. And so now he's just got a death beam pointed directly at his head. He's like, so, goodbye, blue boy. Oh, it's like, I'll even do the honor. Tell me, what was your name? It's like, I am Kal-El of Krypton, Clark Kent of Earth. I am. And all of a sudden, Superman's like, no, this is not the way this is going down. Energy starts to envelop him, and Frieza sees like, Superman! Kind of like an I am Iron Man. So Superman just does a supernova right in Frieza's face. And then just giant explosion. Everyone, for the sake of Superman's, character, everyone was evacuated. But then you have it's like in the dust cell, Superman's just there and just, it's over. It's over. And then all of a sudden you just hear something like, you're right. It is over. And Superman just turns around and just sees normal Frieza now. Got that damn eye. It's like his tail's gone again. He's pretty injured. But Frieza's survived a lot worse than that. Is the problem. And says like, goodbye. No, and he tries to hit Frieza and just boom, boom. Really? That was just embarrassing. And then he said, all right, time to. And then Wonder Woman comes and just takes his head off. Because he's now just not prepared for anyone else. Because there's other members of the Justice League in the DC world. So yeah, Wonder Woman comes and just takes his head off. But yeah, here's the problem. And I might still make Superman the winner if this were, or Frieza the winner if this were a different version of Superman. But different versions of Superman would have more advantages than, say, the New 52 version would. Because the New 52 Superman has a lot more risk of solar depletion, because he's never been depicted quite as strong as some of the other type of incarnations of Superman, and because Frieza's power is comparable to that to a universal being, I do have to lean towards Frieza. Frieza doesn't have as many techniques, but the techniques he has are actually techniques that would give Superman a lot of problems. The Death Beam is a concentrated energy beam that could actually legitimately hurt him and maybe even pierce him on some level. It wouldn't go straight through him because he is highly durable, but it could definitely graze him, could definitely hurt him. The Death Ball would definitely put Superman on edge. He'd actually have to put some legitimate effort into stopping that thing. Telekinesis, Superman has no defense against telekinesis. And Frieza just has enough power and durability once he goes into Golden Frieza to match Superman to some degree. He also has more experience fighting individuals of a higher caliber of martial arts in hand-to-hand combat, like with the Saiyans. And his tail adds for a third measure of combat that Superman wouldn't be readily prepared for. Superman has all his heightened senses. He's still physically stronger and more durable than Frieza. I'll definitely give him that. And I'm not saying he couldn't win. He definitely could win. I wouldn't even make this a really one-sided percentage. I'd say this a 65% chance that Superman probably could win. He could probably just blitz him in the early game if he wanted to. But Superman's got enough moral character, unfortunately, to be like, all right, he's down. I'm going to see if he's completely down and out, and give him a chance to go. Or maybe I'll monologue. It's like we don't have to do it because Superman would do that. Even New 52 Superman, who's a bit more edgy, I suppose you can say. He's a bit more of a dick. Still would give the opponent a couple chances. And Frieza is not someone you want to be doing that with. So I am going to go with Frieza. But look, if you want to try to make an argument, again, it's New 52 Superman, not regular Superman. By all means, throw your arguments in there. I don't think it'll really change my mind, but you can go ahead and try. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superior Magic, What If, anything I do on the channel. Put that in the comments below. Let us know. We'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.